That's right, it's squatching time. Welcome to a live stream on Tuesday. I know it's annoying. We don't really have a set day of the week typically. Going forward, my days off are Mondays and Tuesdays. Right now, I prefer doing the lives typically on a Monday, to be honest with you. But with us doing the update videos on the grow there on Mondays, it kind of has to fall to the Tuesday. So anyway, everybody, welcome to the show. Bear with me. Emails are popping in on my phone, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to look at that now. All messages. There we go. Well, we'll just kind of start the show off slowly while we wait for people to show up there. But, I'm getting really genuinely excited, everybody, about this run, man. It's looking good. It's going great. The buds are really coming together now. I mean, I'm really happy with where they're sitting for 4 weeks. I'm really loving the shape of this grow. I'm loving how the training and the plant is taking to the training on the plant. It kind of reminds me of like this big rib cage that's sort of splayed open in a weird sense. So I mean that in and of itself is quite exciting. And I'm honestly thinking like, we're definitely gonna have at least a minimum of a full pound of what I'm going to keep a smokable flour off of this run, which is very exciting. And, to be fair, I mean, that ain't bad for a 2x4 in my humble 2 cents. What's up, Anthony Cordero? Good to see you, buddy. What's happening? What's crack-lacking? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. But, I definitely think we're going to pull off at least a P off this 2x4 run, which feels weird to do a pound in a 2x4 with one plant. But, it's looking that way. It's definitely looking that way. Oh, what's up, Goddess Ganjadana, yo mama? Good to see you, girl. What's up, Dan Stutzky? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I did get the fans ordered. There's not a lot of wiggle room in trying to survive. And I think that's something that everybody at home can relate to right now is that the cost of living is not getting any better. They keep telling us on the news, oh, inflation's down. Yeah, it may be down, but cost of living ain't. And the funny thing is inflation isn't cost of living. But I managed to get it ordered. I managed to get those two fans ordered. So what I ordered was there was like a 2-pack of these, which is the great thing. Oh man, the Starship launch. Oh, I forgot that was on, bro. Maybe that's where everyone else. Normally we're up to like 40 people by now. Shit, I should be watching that. Well, okay, I'll have to watch it back later. But anyway, long story short, back to talking wheat titties. So on Amazon, there was like a 2-pack of the AC Infinity 6-inch fans. So I've got those ordered. They should be here by tomorrow, according to the Amazon app. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I was talking to Dave at Trim Test and Press, and he was astonished at basically how the fact is we have like next to no air movement in our actual grow tent right now. We have air intake happening, so there's subtle air introduction, but there's not really like a lot of air movement per se in there. So I'm really, everything's looking good. I went through the plant, I checked out everything looking copacetic and looking sexy. We'll be fine introducing these two fans into the tent tomorrow. So I'm not too worried about that, that's for sure. But maybe we should get in there and show you some of the wheat titty plants. Well, there's only one plant, really, but all right. Give me a second here. There we go. So today was a carbonated water day for the plants. So that's what we introduced in today was giving them carbonated water. But they're really coming together, you know what I mean? And the floopiness that was, an initial onset thing, she's definitely kind of bounded back from that initial sort of, floopy start to the run. So that is, and it was good to go. We've got a question that's coming in on one of the videos. Did she drink too much? Blah, 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 blah. No, it was not. It was not an overwatering issue. That was the floopiness on this plant initially. To be honest with you, it was just a finicky genetic in veg. I think she got stressed out a little bit from like growing her in a solo cup the way we did for as long as we did. I think she got stressed out with taking to some of the techniques that she was already in a stress-induced moment when we like planted on sort of the bottom dowling here. and then started growing her out and training her out. But you know, really, it's really bouncing back and really taking the flower quite well. And like you know, everything's just getting frosty and sexy. We've still got a bit of stretch going on, and you know, but like the donkey penises are forming. That is right. The donkey penises are forming. No, they're not quite done stretching. They're still stretching a smidge. There's still a smidge of stretch going on at 4 weeks. I think by week 5, I definitely think that we'll be done with the stretch. That's for sure on the plants. But we'll see there what the case is on that. But you know, today was a carbonated water day, so we gave them a bunch of carbonated water, and you know, we've been hitting our feeds. We used the last part of the Uncle Potsquatch's magical pick-me-up juice yesterday's feed, so that's all done. So we used all of that. So we've been sort of switching back and forth between using that Green Planet's 3-part system as well as Massive Bloom formulation. So you know, that's been fun and come together on that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what's up, WB Growers? Thank you very much. What's up, Red Eye? Good to see you, buddy. WB Growers, Goddess Nana, cheers to you, girl. Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a big difference definitely going on in the plant. Like she's looking good right now, you know. Hey, there's a screenshot right there. Hey. But man, you know, it's nice to see the technique that I envisioned in my head essentially working exactly how I envisioned the technique working on the plant. Dan Stutzky, what's the approximate harvest date? I never lock anything down. I will make a prediction of, I think this will run probably 10 weeks. It's hard to say in that it's like a blue cheese by Girl Scout cookies, right? So 25% blue cheese, or 25% cheese, 25% blueberry indica, with a 50% Girl Scout cookies kind of going into that. So probably a 9 or a 10 week run to kind of where I'm going to want her to go. But honestly, I think this one may push to 10 weeks, you know, just to kind of get that funkiness out of her. But at the end of the day, though, too, it's hard to say. I mean, it really could honestly take less than that. I mean, I'll be watching the trikes once we hit week 8. I'm going to start looking at our trike colorations. Until then, I'm not too worried about it. Because then that's when we're going to be trying to monitor when do we start off flushing on the wee titty plant, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, there's going to be a decent amount of flushing to do, given that we use sort of a microzyme inoculant there. So we're going to have a very, very, very heavy-duty root ball and a lot of systems sort of existing within that pot. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of potential places for those excess salts to be had in for us to kind of get those salts removed from that root medium there. But yeah, 9 or 10 weeks is my guess, my professional guess on it. But I'm not going to lock it in. But yeah, so simply put, we're sitting at a little over, or 1 day over 4 weeks, shall we say. So if it runs 10, it'll be down in a month and a half. If it runs 9, it'll be done in a month and a week. So yeah. What's up, Miss K's Garden? How you doing, girl? Rock and roll. How'd your giveaway go? Did the person like their gift? If you haven't checked out Miss K's Garden, check it out. She did a subscriber appreciation giveaway the other day, which was really cool. She did actually a feminized version of my Galactic Citrus Shiva is one of the things that she did and gave away. So that was nifty to see. I thought that was fun. And then she also hooked him up with a chillum and some cool stickers and stuff. So it just makes me happy seeing, you know, people growing their communities and giving back and loving each other and doing the thing. And, you know, it was cool to see, you know, someone taking a genetic that I did, even though I'm not a feminized guy, but hey, to each their own, right? And doing a feminized version of that and having that go out, right? So that would be the first ever feminized version of the Galactic Citrus Shiva for shizzles, man, you know, going out and in appreciation to her audience there. So that's really cool. I'm not gonna lie to you though, this is the first grow I've done in a while where like I'm excited. I'm getting pretty excited. What's up, Muskoka James? Good to see you, buddy. You know, it's a new technique. No one's ever done this before. I came up with this exact way of doing it. You know, it's utilizing a few different things. So we're utilizing a mainlining technique and low stress training techniques, but the idea, the formulation, the approach, and the execution. This is all my invention. No one's ever done this before, like this. And so, I was a little skeptical going in. I mean, I had high hopes, no pun intended, that it would work out. But to really see the brainchild of it coming to fruition and weed titty stacking and what's up, Joe Burns? Good to see you, buddy. That's pretty exciting and pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And hell yeah, Oh yeah, Fat Buds was the one who won your giveaway, Miss K. Good. Well, tell Fat Buds the next time you talk to them, I say hi. And you know, I'm excited to see how this all turns out. I mean, I'm honestly, genuinely believing that we're looking at at least a pound yield on a 2x4 with one plant. So that's kind of an exciting, you know, prospect, really, if you think about it. I mean, like, you don't get to see that every day. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Miss K, do it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the feminized version of the Galactic Citrus Shiva. Tell me, Miss K, tell me about the female that you picked to be the one to back cross it, as it were. Did you just go straight into the same plant itself, or did you back cross one pheno and knock up another pheno, or how did you approach that for making your feminized version of the Galactic Citrus Shiva? What's up, Mud Swat? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show. Rock and roll. All right. What's up, Carl? Dude, Carl, first time here. Welcome. Then, Carl, this is for you. I'll show you the plant. We're just talking about sort of the new technique that I've developed of running, one plant in a sort of a horizontal, singular, main segmented main line, then training it out to this framework of other doweling that we've attached throughout the tent there. A bit of duct tape and some zap straps in proper Canadiana or Canadiana. But like I'm predicting at least a 1 pound yield off one plant in this 2x4. And I'm just really excited. So Carl, check it out, man, right? Came up with it. It happened in my brain. And then now we are trying to get it going and seeing where she'll end up. You know what I'm saying? So, but I counted in the video. I can't quite remember the number, but there's at least 21 to 25 tops here at bare minimum going on. You know what I'm saying? Mudswatch, she looks a little crispy though. Nah, man, dude, this the crispiness isn't that. This is tacoing happening from heat stress. This is recent. This has only happened the last couple of days, and it's only happening sort of on some of these ones that are approaching the top here. There's no real crispiness to it, though. There was curling. So this curling was from the initial fragility early on in terms of her sensitivity. There's a few, crispy tips maybe, but that's because I'm fucking around and finding out, and I'm force feeding it. So where it was a plant early on in its lifetime that it really struggled with heavy feeding. It really, really struggled with feeding much of anything to it, which frustrates me because I wanted to hit her hard. And, heavy feeding initially was really important because I had this plant grown to basically 3 feet almost in a solo cup in order to pull off what we're doing. No, Carl, for sure. Clawing is nitrogen toxicity, but this hasn't happened as of late. This was early onset nitrogen toxicity when she was very young. And it was a nitrogen toxicity caused by not necessarily too much nitrogen, but inaccessible nitrogen. So there's actually a really cool product that I'm going to be playing with on the next run, which actually makes nitrogen vastly more accessible to the plant in its vegetative phase. So this plant, she struggled with her nitrogen uptake or taking it in early on, which is what then led to excess nitrogen being available within the actual root ball itself, leading to early onset of curling. But I'm not worried about it now. She's taken to things fine. The curling that you're seeing, that doesn't go away when it sets in like that early on. And to be fair, I just don't care. We're going hard and we're going loud and proud. She's got another 6 weeks to go. But really, she's coming together, man. And it's I'm not really worried about her leaves. She is of cheese descent, and cheese often can be a little floopy. Cheese is a little bit floopy at times. And also too, I just noticed something here. Oh, I've had one of my strips crap out. one of these. Now I'm going to see if I can fix that and pull that off. But I've just noticed that. That could be a cause of the heat, though. I've basically crammed a double squatch rack into the tent. I'm just noticing, though. This is the first I've noticed this. We've got one segment of this strip that's cramped out. I'm going to see if that's fixable. It is technically possible to fix that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the right tools, but I technically know a few other techniques to open it up and to see if I can redo the connections between those strips of diodes. Or worst case scenario, I'll just, either pull another strip off one of my other lights and install that, or I'll order one myself and put it that way. Hell yeah, Carl. I'd love to check it out, man. I mean, I'd say honestly, Carl, like one of the hardest things for me too was like with going through the last divorce and then, losing my lab. I used to have, I owned two different houses. We bought one, then we flipped that one and tried the Fonzie tap on it, red eye. I like it. And I used to have so much more space. I mean, I think that's one of the things that Uncle Potsquatch has, struggled with and just being frustrated by it in general is that in actuality, you know, I had so much more space. I could grow so many more plants than I used to. And that is something that drives me insane. It's been driving me legitimately insane. And, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? And so we're making the best of it. That's kind of what led to the fruition of extrapolating what was a technique that was originally designed in my mind for like a very large room to do. And then contemplating a way of executing that in a 2x4 tent. And that's kind of what we're doing here. Carl says, if you can see my icon. Oh, it's so tiny. I'm going to have to look at it on my computer, Carl. Make sure you comment on the most recent video, Carl, so it's easy for me to find your channel. But that's dope, man. Hell yeah. How big did you grow it out? What was the size pot you had that growing in, Carl? Fonzie tap. Honestly, it's weird, but I think it's just, it's burnt out. I'm not sure why the middle segment on that. I've never seen one of our strips do that. But hey, first time for everything. And, I mean, I've had these for years, so eventually things will happen. But simply put, I've got other lights, so I may just cannibalize another strip off of another light and then connect it into our light. Or I'll call Brent and be like, hey man, how much to get another strip for my light? Nice, 15 gallon and a cocoa perlite. Ooh, I've never been a cocoa perlite straight grower, but hey man, I mean, if you're doing kind of a drip feed continuation system on that, hell yeah. You got 8 trees growing, doing it indoors. They yield 2 to 3 pounds a piece. Hell yeah, brother. That's awesome, dude. Now, how many lights you rocking? That's the real question. How many lights you rocking that under, brother? Yo, Daleski OG, it has been a hot minute. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, our live streams have been kind of all over the place. It's been, sort of the function of I had to get a day job, and I gave up bartending and got a real job. And I work I'm the mobile maintenance technician now for a large company, and also the fill-in building services manager. So I'm on the tools these days, and I play with all that. I self-drew a cut from the outdoor Shiva. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Excuse me, Carl. Hell yeah, buddy. What's your power bill like, baby? Oh, man. I wish I had the space to do that again, Carl. I'll tell you, buddy, I miss having space. I miss having a lot of space to hang a bunch of lights. That's probably why Uncle Potsquatch is cramming a light that's way too big into a 2x4 and playing with it. Carl's like 1,200 to 1,500. Yeah, that sounds about right, Carl. When I had a lot of lights going too, man, my power bill was also significant. My power bill's a lot better now, and that's a good thing, man. Shit's so expensive in Van City, man. I was at the grocery store before the show today to go get sort of, the staples for the next, couple of weeks till next payday. And man, sorry. I know exactly what this is. This is my dad dropping off my work phone and then sneaking back out. My dog's gonna... Puppies, he's already gone. Puppies, he's already gone. Chill out. Go lie down. Hey, go, 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 go. My guard dogs, everybody. All 10 pounds of them combined. Go! No one's there now. Nope, he's gone. Sorry, everybody. This is going to take a second. Yo, chill out. Go lie down. I'm doing a show. Stop. Stop. Lie down. Go cuddle your sister. Sit. Everything's fine. Relax. Relax. Ooh. Chill out. Nobody's there, guys. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. But I left my work phone at my dad's crib, so he had to, drop it off for me. And I got to get it charged up for work tomorrow. Let's see here. Daleski says, I'm pollinating 4G13s right now. Hell yeah, bud. Red Eye says security. Yeah, I know. Between the cameras and my dogs, I'm good to go. Dogs are people on a good day and cats are people on a bad day. I mean, I don't know if I'd be saying that. I still like cats more than most people. But yeah. No, dude, I love wee titty plants too, Carl. I just wish I had more space to play with them. I wish I had more space to play with them, Carl. So Joe Burns, great question. And if anyone's new here, feel free to ask questions. It actually helps me do the show. It helps me come up with things to talk about, to have people actually asking questions and interacting with me. This is a show where people are invited to interact and participate. So simply put, I cure typically until it's ready. And I store everything in jars, so it continues curing it for its whole lifetime until it's gone. I will often tell people that your initial curing window for your initial cure is about a 3-week window for most products. So cure for the 3 weeks. And then going forward, most cannabises will have kind of an optimum cure in about 2 to 4 months. I have seen things take up to 6 to 9, 10 months for a proper cure. That's typically on more sat varieties, okay? Unless we're doing like a cold curing process, where we're cold curing in a fridge, and then that is going to gas off at a much slower rate, and it's going to express itself very differently. So it just takes more time in general to do that. But yeah, I mean, so that's sort of the rule of thumb. I mean, sadly, a lot of the product that kind of comes to existence in the market most days, in most places, isn't really a cured product. That's where I tell everybody, if you go grab a bag of weed from your local plug, throw that into a glass jar, man. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't had a chance to really cure. And then, if I buy a big bag, I'm definitely, burping that stuff that I picked up for sure. Well, Daleski OG, I mean, if you're not having a huge pollen release, it is going to have a lower rate of pollination, so you're not going to necessarily get quite as big of a yield. You can help to artificially do that and, go in there and give it a good shake, have some fans run, and let that pollen float about. The danger of doing that, though, too, is you got to be kind of under control and make sure that's not leaking out to any other potential grows that you're having. And then, trying to do it in a confined space is important, so then you can kind of come through and clean up and make your cleaning a little bit easier, right? But that sounds like fun, Dale. Little Chewy Stewie. What do you mean, little Chewy? Excuse me. All right. Good to see you, little Chewy Stewie, by the way. How you doing, buddy? We're just chilling, man. I don't know what's going on today. We're normally have a shitload of people on the show. I don't know. Is there something really big going on? Is Is the audience being robbed today by like, what is there a space launch or something? Someone was saying like this is weird though. We normally have this level of people in the show when I start the show. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Doesn't mean that those of you who are choosing to be here with us are not important, and I'll keep the show going regardless, even if there's only two of you in. Then it'll just be a nice, close, intimate conversation. um, Miss Case Garden says, I have a jar of my Jack Mob that's about a year old and still tasty. Hell yeah, Miss K. I mean, you know, like that's the thing. Like, I've got weed that's probably now, honestly, like almost 2 years old in a jar. I tried some of it the other day. It's definitely past its prime. I'll be honest about that. But it's still not horrible though. It wasn't too bad. Uh, it was funny. Like goes to show you like how old weed may have been back in the day. You know, when you were a kid and acquiring weed titties. I mean, it kind of was like a nostalgia taste and smell to me. But it wasn't bad or anything. It was definitely past its prime though. But it was approaching probably 2 years in this jar. Honestly, about 2 years. I love that one stuff. Everyone was going to be here, but then they got high. Crib, Uncle Potsquatch, is there a simple way to beat Septoria? To be honest, oh, ow. I need to double check one thing before I give you an answer. Give me 2 seconds. Ow. I've got a pinched nerve in my back right now, so my back's a little bit of a dick. It's just in my right hand, though. It's only my dominant hand. I just need to double check one thing. Okay, that's what I thought. I was pretty sure it was a fungal infection. I just needed to check that it was a fungal infection. So septorial fungal infection, or any form of fungal infection, I mean, some plants are going to be more susceptible than others. That is sort of a crack of the draw in terms of the genome. You can do things to try to boost the plant's resistance in general to a pathogenic infiltration, okay? One of those things, as weird as it sounds, is using aspirin, which is acetylsilic acid, which is basically identical in terms of how the plant would register it if you spray it down with, so you dissolve aspirin in water. One or two tabs to a liter will do you, like a 500 milligram tab. And that is going to register to the plant as silic acid. Silic acid is what the plant naturally produces in terms of its own immunoresponse. So you can use that to try to amp up the plant's natural response. If you're in flower, I'm always skeptical about spraying a lot of things in flower. In veg, obviously using different antifungal inoculants. Jake's All-in-One, in and of itself, that's part of what it does. It is in fact a antifungal agent, as amongst other things that it does. So in veg, totally using antifungal sprays is going to be a thing. I also find that when trying to deal with any form of pathogenic, one of the things you can identify is try to look into what is the weakness, or where does if it's a fungus, for example, so a fungal reality, like look to where it is thriving. What brings it into itself and really thrive. So if it likes hot temperatures, right, try to keep your temperatures down during lights on, and try to take your temperatures as low at lights off as you can. Also too, with like hops latent viroid, there's been a lot of, no one's figured out how to get rid of it yet. The only real way is to euthanize, keep a living tissue culture, take a tissue culture clone, then basically bleach the fuck out of your space. It is so prevalent now, and hops latent as a viroid is interesting because it's kind of like, herpes simplex 1 or 2. It can lay dormant for years, and then it can get triggered though vis-a-vis stress. But there's been a lot of interesting experiments done by a lot of people when it comes to hops latent viroid, where they're spiking their temperatures really high to try to beat that shit down. So like, I haven't done a lot of these experiments when it comes to like fighting, for example, hops latent viroid, but like there's a lot of interesting work being done by a lot of different people in terms of trying to address that. Obviously, we're talking about a fungal reality for yourself. So if you're not in flower, doing like a bit of a fungal treatment, foliar spray is going to be beneficial. Utilizing acetylsilic acid, which again responds as silic acid, which is what the plant's going to produce in its natural immunoresponse. That's going to help. Also, too, fat levels of feed. Okay, so find where this plant's happy medium of feeding is, making sure it has all of the nutrients and micronutrients that it needs for it to fight back naturally. That's also going to help. Introducing easily accessible sugars is also going to be a beneficial thing, because that's offering basically easily accessible, quick energy for the plant to keep fighting, shall we say, uh, the good fight. So, do I have a direct answer for you? Fuck no, I don't. But I have an educated piece of advice in terms of how to approach it. Things like any form of pathogenic reality, whether it's a fungal or a viroid, every plant is going to be a little different in terms of how it responds. Also, too, high level stress triggers on the plant are going to bring down its immunoresponse, so that's going to make it more prevalent for anything to potentially run rampant, right? So like these are all some things to kind of wrap your brain about when we're approaching different things like that, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I hope that helps, by the way. I know it's not like an exact answer, but it's what I got for you. Yes, but septoria though also is a fungal reality that that attacks cannabis. Septoria fungal realities. Dan Stutzky says, I got some 3+ year old hash. I find hash almost is like a scotch or a cheese. If it's stored properly, it can actually keep, and it does change, but it stays dank. Where like flour has a limited shelf life. Like if you keep a perfectly cured, ready to go piece of hash and then you seal it in and of itself, typically I'll package like long term hash storage. I'm gonna wrap it in paper. You can keep it in the freezer to try to maintain it where it's at, but I actually kind of like to leave it at the same sort of median temperature, in a dark spot, and just let it kind of come to terms with itself. And that shit changes so good, man. So I guess Crip, in answer, try using a fungal treatment of some sort. Um, would be the simplest way, but nothing's ever simple typically with how I think about it. I'm kind of a big picture kind of guy, and I look at the whole kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Joe Burns. Now, are you having it tested where it's got a higher level of CBD? I believe probably what you're identifying is the conversion of THC to CBN, which does occur over time. CBN is a secondary form of tetrahydrocannabinol. What you could be also, so CBV is actually the mother cannabinoid, which is what becomes other cannabinoids. It's kind of like an undifferentiated cell, like a stem cell, and then it can kind of become all these other things. So you could maybe have taken it down a little early, and then in your curing and aging process, remaining latent CBV is becoming CBD. That is possible. But probably if you're not having it tested to actually check the numbers, my best guess is actually what's happening is a conversion of your THC to CBN. CBN has a lot of CBD like effects. And so if it's more from your experience of the product and what you're experiencing when consuming it, it could be that too. Sorry, everybody, I'm just reading now. Bear with me for a second. Oh, you're not wrong, for sure, bro. Little Chewy Stew, like monitoring it and playing with your relative humidity. I mean, different fungal realities though are going to function differently. So like a deep seated fungal reality that's actually like infiltrating the tissues in a little deeper sense, like a septoria would. Um, Relative humidity again is still important, but like more so addressing the plant's immunoresponse is kind of going to be my number one thing on that one. My problem with like wanting long cured hash too is like I love long cured hash as well, but then I always end up smoking it. I gotta like hide hash on myself and forget about it, and then I find it later. Joe Burns says, any advice on cleaning grow spaces between grows? I grow in a greenhouse. I will be 4 months before my next cycle, but but I grow other stuff in there, so I don't want to like hurt my other plants. Um, I mean, again, it's going to take me back to a product like Jake's. Is Jake's can be used as a room spray as well. The thing is, though, is if you're running a bunch of beneficial microbials and stuff in your greenhouse, it will kill those too. So be careful. But you can use all natural plant sprays that are fairly effective as a treatment spray. Honestly, I'm still gonna go in, even if I'm growing it other things like other plants and stuff in that greenhouse. I would still go through with a deep clean with some bleach, bro. There's Potsquatch. I like me some Clorox wipes. You know. So yeah. So simply put, you know, good old bleach, man. I know that sounds weird, but like bleach is the way to go. Just be careful with it. Like we're not talking using straight bleach. Dilute that bleach, baby. Yeah, and so Joe Burns, that's going to be that conversion where that conversion of THC is turning into a CBN for you, and that's where you're going to be noticing that. What's up, Chronic Chatter? Good to see you, buddy. Flame Guy, do you support the growing of salvia? I don't grow salvia. I've tried salvia a number of times in the past. I mean, it was interesting. Would I do it again? Probably not. Um, if salvia is something that you want to ingest, I say go for it. I mean, I've never been a huge like now I like my magic mushrooms, but in my mind, even though they are considered a hallucinogenic reality, they don't quite sit in the same boat as the rest of them in my mind. Like salvia, that shit took me to a whole different planet the couple times I tried it. Um, but if people want to grow salvia, I say go for it. I've never grown salvia. I have no desire personally to grow it myself, but I don't think there's any issue with someone wanting to grow salvia, Flame Guy. This is a Canadian ganja flag, so instead of a maple leaf, it has a weed leaf on it. But it is the Canadian flag. It's just the Canadian flag with the weed leaf instead of a maple leaf. Red Eye's like, I'm still looking for my brick of hash I hit in 1995. Well, that is definitely safe to say. That is some aged hash there, bud. I'm just reading here. No worries, Flame Guy. Chronic Chatter, dude. I'm always happy to be a guest on other people's shows. I'm gonna, yeah. So sorry. Okay, there's a few things here. So Chronic Chatter, always happy to be a guest on another show. I'm actually going to be on another show after the show today. Glenn Wells, who took over the oh bloody heck, what's their show called? It's Neil Magnuson, the THC show with Neil Magnuson. So Neil Magnuson, obviously, well, you may not know, but he passed away. He lost his fight to cancer. Rest in peace, Neil. Neil and I didn't see eye to eye on everything, and we were different views on the cannabis world and how to approach it and how to approach the rights and the fight for rights, but he was an OG of standing up for the Wee Titty people and fighting for people, and he's a true gangster that way. So anyway, Neil has passed, as I shared, and so Glenn Wells of Canamatch.ca has taken over doing the show for him. Now, Glenn was one of the sort of 420-hour guests that would come on the show with Neil for years. Neil's now hosting the show. They had their guest back out last minute today, so I'm going to pop into their show for a bit, a little later, to help them fill the void, I guess you could say. But so in answer though, Chronic Chatter, I'm happy to be on the show. Anthony Cordero says mushrooms are better. Salvia is totally different. No, they are. Salvia is very much a different reality than mushrooms. I got a big bag of mushrooms in my cupboard. I don't got a big bag of salvia, but yeah, salvia. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm glad I tried it. It was an interesting experience to try salvia. I will be fully honest about that. I'm glad I've tried it. I'm glad I have that experience in my repertoire of experiences that I've had. I have no desire to ever do it again, honestly. But yeah, Savito DMC. So like mushrooms are basically essentially legal in Canada now. They're available everywhere. I've got a big bag of them in my cupboard. You know, salvia's always been legal in Canada. It's never been illegal. It was just sort of this weird legal herb you could smoke and go to a very different place. Um, but you know, it is what it is, right? Like, it's like I don't know. Um, you know, but yeah, I'm sorry that Indonesia is where they're at. I mean, Thailand recently changed, so parts throughout the Orient are changing their mindsets. I mean, there's also some very large players that are very against everything. China being one, obviously. But I hope for the Indonesian people that things begin to change. Joe Burns, how shelf stable is Keef? Great question. It's as long as you don't have like a super high moisture content, so it's a keef that is well cured but not too moist. You have a low relative humidity to it, and as long as you protect it from photo interaction, that's what's going to degrade and denature all the wonderful parts of your keef. Store it in something that's solid or in the complete darkness. Typically, I would also store it in something like a glass container that's non-reactive. But yeah, overall, it's pretty shelf stable. It is no different than anything else, though. Like it will degrade very similarly to like how flour will, where like hash and other dabs, when properly stored, they will degrade or denature or change at a slower rate, in my opinion. So thus making them more shelf stable, shall we say? But keef in and of itself is fairly shelf stable as long as approached correctly. Yes, oxygen also is not a thing to help keef. That's a good point. That guy channel 2, I dig it. So chronic chatter though, in response to your thing again, just shoot me an email, bud. I'm always happy to come on. Obviously schedule abiding for me, right? But I work days typically, so as long as it was like an evening-ish time show, I'd be super down. What am I vaping? That is not a weed vape. This is a nicotine vape that I'm hitting. Um, this is a Nick vape. It's not cool. Um, I have weed vapes, but I smoked everything that was in them. So I'm on the bong and the dubes, guys. But like I've also got lots of fun dabs to spice up my joints. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this was a wonderful gift. I was working for Dave at Trim Test and Press, so I showed up and I got a bonus gift. So there's a bunch of nice MKU in there and a bunch of El Champo crumble in there. I've got Tiger Blood live rosin. I've got MKU crumble. I've got Pink Kush crumble, or an NKU by Death Bubba Kush crumble. I got lots of fun little things. What about DMT? I've always been curious to try DMT, but nervous at the same time. Because again, hallucinogens are not my favorite thing. And I have a very strange mind and a weird brain. So I am very curious about DMT. I'm curious to try it. I can go buy that in a vape pen at a store in Vancouver. I just literally there's a store down from my house. I can go buy acid, DMT, cocoa leaves, all that kind of shit. Um, so I've always been curious about it. I've never tried it though. I would be down in the right time, place, and location and mindset to try it. I've heard rumors like 70 to 80% of people who try DMT meet interdimensional aliens or something like that. Some call them angels, and they're like, "We're so glad you found this technology. I want to see if I meet interdimensional aliens." And they say the same thing. Like that's the main reason I want to try DMT is like I want to see if that is true because like 70 to 80% of people, report that this is a thing that happens to them. And so that's probably my main curiosity about that, honestly. If I'm being fully honest. Yeah, that guy channel 2, that makes sense. I mean, salvia is one of those things where you got to follow the rules of doing salvia. Have a sober person there with you, be sitting down, and like there's rules to salvia. It doesn't last very long. My salvia trip I think was about 47 seconds to a minute. I also broke every rule. I took too much. I did it by myself. I did it in public, and I did it standing up. But I mean, I'm Uncle Potsquatch. I'm gonna fuck around and find it out, right? Just because I'm willing to try something on my own in a weird way doesn't mean you should. I just wanted to see. And after the experience, I will advocate that I do believe in the rules that are, associated to, uh, uh, in actuality, of salvia. Those rules are there for a reason, everybody. Fastbuck says, don't try it. Oh my God, please don't. Depression in INC. I would say increases what you were meaning. Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of people say it's not. I mean, so for me, like, I as an actor, writer, comedian, I deal with depression and darkness and anxiety on a daily basis. I'm not worried about that. That's a normal thing for me. And again, I still probably would one day try DMT in the right place. I'm curious to see what happens. Dan Stutzky's like, I met the devil on acid. Well, Dan, I didn't know we hooked up for a weekend, man. I'm just joking. Yeah, so Mudswat, if you're on antipsychotics, do not take these things because it's just going to be a waste of money. If you're on like something like an olanzapine or a heavy-duty antipsychotic, it will do next to nothing to you. That used to be one of my party tricks when I was misdiagnosed as bipolar when I was younger, and I was on a ridiculous amount of olanzapine. It really fucked me up, actually. But it was one of my party tricks, though, because I was on such high levels of an antipsychotic that I could drop like 5-10 hits of acid and nothing would happen to me. And people were like, oh my God. And I was like, no, I'm just playing chemist in my brain right now. But right? So, yeah. Sorry, I'm just making sure I haven't missed any messages here. So, Chronic Chatter, by the way, if you're still there, when were you thinking about wanting to do a show? My days off are typically Monday and Tuesdays. Right now, I'm doing my shows on Tuesdays, and I could do 2 shows in a day. I'm doing 2 shows in a day today. One here, and then one on the THC show for Pot TV. So that I'll be on their show around 4:20 BC time. So if you want to check in on that, go check that out. I don't know if they go live on their YouTube or if they're only live on Facebook and then they post the video to their YouTube afterwards. I don't know the current state or status with their YouTube channel and YouTube. YouTube's coming after all of us and has been for years, but we are live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, dude, Chronic Chatter, boom, done. That would be, if you're Eastern, that would mean you're 3 hours ahead of me, so that means 7 p.m. for you is 4 p.m. for me. And Mondays, I don't do a show. I release my video. So next Monday, and I'll shoot it during the day typically, and release it before 4 p.m. So yeah, I could do next week if you want. I could do next week Monday if you want, buddy. I'm down if you're down, bud. All right, all right, all right. What's up, Daddy-O Grows? Good to see you, buddy. All right, welcome to the show, buddy. Bro, Daleski OG, that's scary, bro. That's a scary, scary story. I mean, I'm glad you got clean off the meth, man. Meth is not a good drug. It'll fuck anybody up. I actually have quite a few friends who are recovered meth addicts, and so congrats. I mean, I'm glad you came out with just ringing ears for 2 months and nothing else. I'm assuming too bad, Daleski OG. So that's good. But that sounds intense, bro. Hey, no worries, Chronic Chatter. Do you got my email, Chronic Chatter? Could one of my moderators share that one more time for me? Potsquatch420@gmail.com. Send an email there, but also I'm on the Facebook if you're on the Facebook too. There's ways to get a hold of me. Technically, it's not even hard to find my phone number on the internet if you know how to go about looking for it. And Dale, I'm glad you didn't die, buddy. I'm very glad you did not die. It's like straight up. 20 years clean, bro. Fucking hats off to you, bro. Respect you. And I love you. Good job, buddy. Thank you, Ganja Nana. I love you. So Chronic Chatter, if you see the email there, that's Uncle Potsquatch right there, and rock and roll. You can shoot me an email there, bud. So I know we said we're gonna do autos on the next run, and I think we're gonna do 2 runs at the same time. So I think I'm gonna run some autos freestyle in the washroom. I'm sitting in the washroom right now. So maybe fire up a little Squatch or something like that, okay? And we'll do Texas Squatches autos, because I've been saying forever that we were gonna do Texas Squatches autos on the show. And I haven't done it yet. And it's been a hot minute. So we're going to run some of those. So we're going to run a couple of Texas Squatch autos. We're going to get those going. And then I'm also going to do something else in the tent. And we're going to do 2 things at once, because why not? Much love, Miss K. Keep it real, girl. Thanks for tuning in, yo. Oh, man. I got to stretch out this pinched nerve in my back. Oh, man. But like, if I were to grow out one plant again, and we're going to do another plant into the squatch lining technique in the 2x4, what kind of weed should Potsquatch do? I mean, what do we want to see? Do we want to see a straight indica variety? Do we want to see something satty? Which, that would be interesting maybe in a squatch lining technique. I don't know. I got a lot of weird stuff in my collection that we could try out. What kind of weed? What kind of weed does everybody want to see me grow next after this run? That's the question. I mean, you don't even you could even send me an email at a later date, because again, we've got at least 5 or 6 weeks at least before I chop this plant down. So Dan Stutsky says indica for sure. Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's sort of my happy place, Dan. I mean, that's honestly where my true happy place really is. I love indicas and I love cushes or indica-leaning hybrids, because let's be fair, most things that are called indica these days are typically more of an indica-leaning hybrid. That's just the reality of the beast, shall we say, out there, but... Okay, Eugene Dolan says indica as well. All right, so far we got 2 for indica. 5-gallon buckets with tomato cages. That is how I used to run a lot, man. I just don't have the space for it anymore. The problem is the original closet we started the show or the channel with is a closet now. I use it as a closet. I got my clothes in there. I've got all the Potsquatch store stuff in there on shelves. And then a TV and a dresser. To be fair, technically, if I got rid of a bunch of shit, like I own too much shit. Like I basically condensed a 2,500 square foot house into this apartment with the divorce. I got most of everything that I ever looked at sent to me. Some of it partially broken, which is part of like where I'm wondering. I'm like, I wonder if that strip is burnt out and fucked up, because it may have been one of the strips that got damaged because she didn't package anything when she sent stuff back to me. But she just kind of all threw it into a giant shipping container. But I wonder if that led to that section burning out on it. I don't know. Bud Swat says I should grow sativa. Anthony, so now we're 2 and 2. Now we got 2 and 2. Shit, I need another 10. See, wouldn't it be fun if all at once I was growing an indica plant, and then in another tent I was growing a sat plant, and then in the washroom we were growing autos? Imagine if we were growing all 3 at once. That could be interesting too. See, the thing, my relationship with sativas, and I'll own this, and I've never hid from it. I actually get really bad anxiety typically from most sativas. They typically make me very anxious, is what I've found over the years. But yeah. Hey, man. Much love, brother. Say hi to the fam jam for me, Chronic Chatter, and we will talk soon, buddy. And, if we end up doing it next Monday, cool. I will put it as a tentative scheduling in my head right now for next Monday night. Or, well, afternoon. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, back to the topic of sativas causing me anxiety, though. They do. Oh my God. Now, mind you, like, I will also own that, like, weed in general, if I smoke it, can be anxiety provoking for me. That's typically where I like to leave things to a later pick often. I've loved indicas more or kushes more than sats. Oddly, I don't really get anxiety if I do one of my tinctures or something like that. But hell yeah. Hell yeah, Dalesky OG. Nah. Then I'll think of, we'll do a little bit of everything. I've got a Green Goblin sat too that could be interesting. We could run classic, old school. I've also got a hybrid, mostly sat. I've got a Green Goblin by Cheese as well in my collection. That could be interesting for us to do. Did I take my beer in there? No. Or did I? No. Good. It means it's out here. So I've got a few options that we could do that are predominant sats or almost entirely sat. If you want to see something that's really cool, I've got an F2 that I created of the Kaitungata by Canadian White Russian, which is almost entirely sat. And it's an F2 of the genetic that was sent to us by Gaz out of New Zealand there. So like that'd be another option of something we could do that's basically a straight up sat. And I've got those beans. Funnily enough, those were the beans I was harvesting when my ex got me arrested by lying and beat to shit by the cops. And also, too, there's no one even in the show, so nobody's going to listen to it. But it was so funny. I'm going to share a personal story with everyone. So, like an idiot, I guess, with my ex, Dottie, who we called Mrs. Potsquatch for years, I kept living in this weird little quiet thought that eventually we'd be able to talk and we could maybe be friends or something like that, right? So I sent her an email maybe like 5 months ago. About a month ago, I got a response. And let's just say it was not a very friendly response. I was super friendly in my initial email. And I was being soft. I was being gentle. I just wanted to chat. I talked about how I felt like I hadn't had any closure or my chance to say anything. And just to set the record straight, I hope she's watching or hears about this. She has bought into her full-blown delusions of what happened. So, first of all, she was like, you took a plea bargain. No, I didn't take a plea bargain, everyone. I took a peace bond. Very different thing. A peace bond is an agreement between me and the Crown. I could have beaten the charges because she lied. I did not assault her. I did not headbutt her. I did not fucking lay a hand on her. We bumped heads and I was crying and trying to give her a fucking hug and a kiss. And then she goes, oh my God, you headbutted me. And I said, no, if I headbutted you, you'd be unconscious or bleeding. You're 100 pounds. I'm a retired fighter. At which point, she locked herself in a washroom and called the police on me. I went and fell asleep on the couch, and then they showed up and tried to rip me out of my house that I owned, and I threw a cop through a fence. Then they beat the shit out of me. But she is full-blown into her delusion. She has gone and said, oh, you took a plea bargain. No, I didn't. A plea bargain is accepting an admission of guilt for lesser this or that. I took a peace bond, which is no admission of guilt, because I couldn't have beaten the fact that I got hit with a breach charge. A breach charge, what does that mean? Well, according to the cops, when they let me out of jail after crying all night, because I was very upset and beat to shit by the police, they said I couldn't contact her. I sent her one text message, everybody. I said I loved her. I said the guy that she was involved with, and I'm pretty sure she was cheating on me with, like, why would you pick him? He's like a shitty version of me. But regardless, I'll love you forever and for always. Love, Daddy Squatch. She reported that to the cops, and I got hit by a breach charge. I couldn't beat that breach charge in a court of law because I technically committed breach. It was the one thing I did. So just to clarify for everybody publicly, one, never laid a hand on her, didn't take a plea bargain, took a peace fucking bond. And it hurt my feelings, everybody. But it was, I guess it was closure of a sense to see her living in this full-blown delusion of her story. And I'm like, wow, like I've been sitting here for 2.5 years. I paid all your fucking bills for the better part of eight months when I had no job, came to Vancouver with nothing. And I still loved you. I still wanted to make peace. I still wanted to at least try to be friends. I had forgiven you, and you're living in this full-blown nutter, this sort of delusional story you've created in your head. And it's sad. It's sad. She was such a brilliant young woman to see someone kind of go off the rails there. But you know what? That's the clarification, everybody. And you know what? I'm not going to hide shit. She's all like, you've been talking publicly about, you've been lying publicly. I'm like, no, bitch, I ain't lying about shit. This is the true fucking story. I have not hid from one thing this whole thing. And I'm not going to hide from that. But sorry if that's a bit heavy for everyone at home. I just needed to get that one off my chest publicly. Because, like, fuck it. Mud swat, no. So tetrahydrocannabinol or cannabidiol will still function when on sort of antipsychotics, because where it is technically considered a psychotic affecting drug, it's not actually activating the parts of the brain that like acid or psychoglobin or other types of things are interacting with. It functions biochemically in a different way. So where it might have a mild effect, when I was on my huge amounts of antipsychotics back in the day when they misdiagnosed me as bipolar, I'm not, by the way, not on any meds, but long story short, weed still worked. It definitely still worked. Maybe it worked a little differently and I didn't notice, maybe, but it works differently. It's not like a traditional full-blown psychotic reality where an antipsychotic is going to kind of do that. You know what I'm saying? Right, Anthony? No, we do. My mom's joke was probably the best joke that came through this whole like most recent thing. And my mom's joke to me was basically she was like, "Well, Josh, that's 2-0 now. You've either married or been basically married to two women now, and they've both proven to be absolutely nuts in the end. I don't think you should be qualified and be allowed to pick your own dates anymore." My mom's probably right. So, there we go, right? But I mean, that was the funny thing on that one. And I was like, shit, Mom, you've got a good sense of humor. You got a good sense of humor about your mom, and I need a laugh. So, and also, just to end up on my final statement of me owning the truth, and notice I don't say my truth, because what I'm saying is actually what fucking happened. Fuck that. I was a dipshit in my own ways. I was not a perfect husband. I was not perfect in a lot of ways. I was very stressful to live with. I will own all of that. I have done so much looking in the mirror and working on that shit. And this chick has done zero work and zero ownership of her shit, and just blames it on me. But don't take any of what I'm saying to think that I wish any ill on her. I still hope the best for her. I still think about her all the time. I still consider her the mom to my dog children. You know? I hope she gets the help she needs in terms of her mental health. I hope she one day has the strength to really work on herself. That's what I hope for. I pray that one day she can truly work on herself and grow as a human, because she was a very special human in a lot of other ways. That's my last statement on that. So, hi, buddy. Oh, Mogwai's like, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Don't worry. We'll hang out soon, buddy. Little do they know, I've got another show to do in about an hour and 17 minutes. We'll get a nice big walk in there, though. Should we show you the weed titty plants again? Who wants to see the weed titty plants? You want to see the weed titty plants? Yes. Anthony's like, please, show me the weed. We don't care about your sad, broken life. I know you didn't say that. I'm just being silly. Fuck you, shoulder. There we go. Whew. Here, I'm going to get the chair so I can easily sit while I show Oh, fuck you, fly. There's like a house fly in my house, and now it's like, ooh, warm grow tent. I'm like, fuck off. Get away from my plants, bud. So here we are. One plant, maximizing. Now, a true maximization would be if we had vegged out fully, but we flipped it a little, because like she needed to go into flip to kind of come to terms with herself. So like, true maximizing would have been filling out these last two little small quadrants there. We'll get it on the next one. But like, one plant, 5-gallon, 2x4. We're gonna pull at least a pound on this. It's rocking and rolling, kicking ass and taking names. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. I gotta pull out some of that dead growth from down here, which means I'm gonna have to get on my back and just sort of slowly go through and pull out some of these dead leaves. Because again, you don't want to leave these dead leaves in there for too long, because they can promote bud rot. Now, this is mostly dead foliage along that main segment there, so I'm not too worried about down there, but still, I should get around to cleaning it out. But like, man, she coming along though, baby. Like, look at that. All right, baby. All right. Look at that. Sexy times. Dun, 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 dun. Tops along the back, tops along the back, tops along the side, tops in the middle, tops in the middle, tops along the side, tops along the side. Yeah, baby. I mean, it could have been more full up ganja. Like I said, if we had done that part, but overall, though, I'm extremely excited, and I'm looking forward to when we finally get the new fans in here and rocking and rolling. But 4 weeks of flower coming along, frosting up hardcore, got a nice funky smell to her. Still quite sweet, so I'm hoping she gains some more funk as she ages, because I am a big lover of cheese, cannabis, and cheese things. Did I get fans in there? Not yet. They are ordered. Right now, the only air coming in is through these little air intakes that are fed from a single vent turbocharging fan on the top of the tent. But they should, in theory, show up tomorrow. But it is smelling good. Oh, there's a funk there. There's definitely a funk there, ladies and gentlemen. There's definitely a funk there. But it's definitely looking good and getting sexy, I tell you. I'm going to have to sit on the couch here. The dogs are all getting stressed. That is one thing I will say. My dogs are much needier now than they used to be. They're much needier now, but, they've been through a lot. Here's little Moggy. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, everybody, to little Mogwai. Here's little Moggy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Betty. Say hi to everybody. There's Betty. Oh, Betty. That's a good girl. That's a good girl, Betty. Those are the puppies. Yeah, no, they're good babies. But so, if I can figure out the space, everybody, maybe we'll try to do a sat, an indica, and autos all at once. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I should take a moment just to let all of you know, too, for those of you who are unaware. Until the new year, we are doing a sale on the store. The store will have a sale on until midnight on New Year's Eve. So basically, it's 25% off everything on the store all the way until New Year's Eve at midnight. It's the least we can do to try to help out with the cost of living and how crazy things are out there. So we've enacted that. It's been on now for a couple weeks. Just wanted to remind everybody of that. Also, too, liking, subscribing, sharing our videos, sharing, especially like this new grow technique we're doing. Share that video about, tell your friends about it. That really helps us with our fight against the shadow ban and shadow block of YouTube. I think we're finally almost done our strike that we got. So once that strike goes away, I'm hoping that will be like less shadow banned. Still shadow banned, but like less shadow banned, if that makes sense. Um, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But so we should have that done soon. So, but the fun thing is I've got a lot of fun videos when I have a few extra bucks to order the parts to do them. Like one of the videos that we're going to be making for everybody is making an inexpensive side lighting, supplementary lighting add-on that you can add on to any grow tent, and you can build it for a few bucks with a few parts. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be utilizing, setting up sort of a 4-bar lighting system around the corners, okay, of the grow tent. It's going to be utilizing a T8 fluorescent tube driver, but we're going to be utilizing the Philips 3500 Kelvin LED T8 replacement bulbs on that. So that's going to be kind of fun. Dan Stutzky, this is the V-Feel V1, and it's blue raspberry peach ice. So that's going to be one of those fun things. Yo, brother. What's up, Kev T? I'm doing well enough, buddy. Ain't dead yet, buddy. Oh, I don't know. I think Jimmy's not in the show. He just commented on one of the other videos. He was, I feel like, because I only saw part of it because it popped up, and he was like, are feminized seeds junk? Wow, loaded question. I think they're overpriced. I think all seeds are overpriced typically. That's why we make our seeds so affordable on our store. And then we give you 25% off, even on top of that sometimes. I'll type him an answer later, but I don't think anyone new's watching the show right now, so I don't really need to get into my diatribe of what I think about feminization on seeds. But yeah. To be fair, I'm pretty sure these destroy lungs too. But my lungs are fucked because I was working in a grow, helping harvest the other day with Dave's company, Trim Test and Press, and there was a bit of bud mott and mold and stuff in there, and it wasn't his grow. He just gets brought in to process it, and that's my thing. All seeds are great if they're made properly. Sure. If by properly you mean using an actual genetic that's never been introduced to a compounding, fragmented feminization, pollen chucking process, which has been the last 20, 25 years of most colloquial breeding of most genetic stock that's out there, then I agree with you, Kev. But anyway, I'm not trying to be contradictory, man. Much love. I'm just being silly. But yeah. Oh, also too, here's a fun thing too that we're gonna be doing. So going forward with our channel, okay. Now this will be more really for now. Now I'm working with Trim Test and Press to try to figure out a way that they can offer services in the States as well. That might take us a while to figure out. But so Trim Test and Press is exactly what it sounds like. So they offer processing for both LPs, ACMPRs, whether you're medical or you're a legal producer. They will come in, they will help you harvest your product, get it ready for market. Okay. But also they test. They have the most advanced testing equipment. They will tell you all of your cannabinoid breakdowns, your terpene levels, all of these types of things, okay? And one of the great things that they offer, okay, at Trim Test and Press, look them up. They're out and about. And the owner's name is Dave, one of the friendliest, nicest human beings you'll ever meet in your goddamn life. And so they have mail-in tests. So basically, when it comes to like flower, right? You know, you mail in 1/8 of your weed. I can't remember what the fee is. I feel like the fee is like $80 or $90. So you gotta mail in 1/8. Your fee is like $80 or $90, something like that. I'll see if I can negotiate a discount for Canadians for now, and then if he ever opens up in America, then I'll get you guys a discount too. But he can also test your plants from any tissue culture through a vegetation process, watching sort of things evolve. They also offer pressing services. So they consult, they process, they make dabs, they do all these types of things. Now, so for me and Dave, we both just, we both make a lot of like extracts and hashes and rosins. So like we just kind of nerd out together on that one. But we're going to be testing this crop when it's done. We're going to give you all of the breakdown numbers straight true from the actual lab itself. We're going to have a show with Dave. We're going to talk about Dave's experiences over the last 2.5 years of owning and operating his company. He has a genetic catalog of 1,400 things he's tested. He's had over 2,000 different tests now done in the last 2.5 years. And he's done some pretty cool experiments, to be honest with you. He's done a lot of experiments, too, with comparing and contrasting lighting systems with the exact same pheno, the exact same genetic, and seeing what cannabinoid levels and terpene levels are with certain lighting systems and stuff, right? So we're going to be doing that. We're going to test this. And so when we get this one done, we're not only going to test the flower. I'm going to have some rosins we're going to make out of other products we have. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff done, and we're going to get it tested. And we'll see also too if we can sweet talk Dave into maybe doing a bit of a discount for any Canadian Potsquatches who want to have their products tested. It's going to be a beneficial thing. One, it'll be interesting for you all at home to see. It'll be interesting for me. But going forward, we're going to be testing every run we do, actually. And we will have you proper certed tests on all the shit. And that's going to be pretty cool. I don't see a lot of YouTubes doing that consistently. I see them doing it maybe once in a blue moon. But we're going to enter into partnership between our two little companies, and we're going to be testing a lot of fun shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a good time, my friend. Dude, hell yeah. Dude, Kev T, I've got a beautiful MK Ultra I've got cold curing in the fridge right now. I might even smoke some of that. Well, maybe not before I go on the next show. I got to go on the THC show on Pot TV at 3:16 now. They said I needed to be logging in by 4:19 at the latest. Their show starts at 4. So I have a bit of time. But enough time to walk the dogs, have a beer, maybe have a snack, and then I'll go on their show. But we'll be on their show today, too. I'm going to switch tops, and I'll put on the Potsquatch shirt on that one because, well, if you tune into this show, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know who you're tuning in to watch. Rep the brand, I guess, on their show. But, yeah, it'll be a good time, bro. And like I said, I don't know if that goes live on YouTube and just gets released on YouTube after the fact. I feel like it might just only go live on Facebook because YouTube and Pod TV have an interesting relationship. Their relationship with YouTube is even worse than my relationship with YouTube. And my relationship isn't great with YouTube. But we'll see. But we'll be on there today, too. Because they had a last-minute pull-out of their guest for today. And then Glenn was like, hey, man, you always said if I needed a last-minute guest, like, for the show, you'd be willing to come on. Can you help us out today? And I was like, I'm already doing my show, but all right, fuck it, I'll show up. And there's a good chance we might end up on the show We Chatter on Monday, it's looking like. Ooh, a minty taste. That is new, Kev T. I have not met an MKU that had a mintiness to it. Usually mine's just straight gas and kind of cushy and funky, but this one's pretty good. This one's definitely more just like straight cushy, gassy, and funky, but it's really nice, though. It's quite tasty. Maybe I'll roll up one of those to smoke on the THC show. Also, too, if anyone cares, I'll see if I can, if you want, I can reach out to Dr. Ife Abiola again, who's the leading cannabis doctor in Canada, and whether we do a live show with him or maybe we could do some collab videos, we could do that, too. Hell yeah, Daddy-O Grows. Dude, everybody loves the Potsquatch Growers logo and the name and the concept of the brand. When I wear the shirt out, I get compliments everywhere I go wearing this shirt. They're like, dude, that shirt is so cool. What is it? Like, so I'm very happy that the hat is doing you proud down in the States there, Daddy-O Grows. And yeah, I'm glad you rocking it loud and proud, buddy. I'm glad you rocking it loud and proud. Right now, in the current availability for the store, I think there's 4 or 5 hats left for those wanting to try to buy one on sale right now. Then when they're out, I'm going to try to have to get the money together to order more. But we'll make that happen. My goal right now is just to try to keep the store open, which costs us $200 a month on top of everything else, just to keep it going. Shout out to Luna and Luna-based platforms and programming, who gave us a deal on last month and this month and cut our costs a little bit for us to help us keep things going. So we appreciate that too. Yeah, we could do that. It's not, those wouldn't, okay, how big of a banner and what kind of banner, you know what I'm saying? Mohammed Asman, is our hat one piece? No, it is a trucker cap. So it's got like the baseball cap. It's got a strappable back. Uh, I'm not rich enough to release one piece hats. Let's be honest right now. Maybe one day. I've been trying to get toques released for everybody, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pull it off this year. Let alone, the ladies are asking for like lady tank tops and like hoodies and all that. And one day maybe. Yeah, well, Kev T, I mean, shoot me a message with it. So, because again, my brain forgets things, but I am open to sponsorships now. I never had a sponsorship, but for the right companies, I'm willing to entertain sponsorship deals to try to help us keep doing things, especially if they're willing to do something to help those who watch the show too. I'm definitely open to all of that now. Um, I can barely keep the lights on here and keep my bills paid. I make more money now at this job than I've ever made my new day job. And I feel poorer than I've ever felt before in my life. That's the world we live in, baby. But I'll never give up and I'll never surrender and I'm never going to stop, baby. I'm never going to stop. I'm going to keep on keeping on. They've tried to destroy me. They've tried to kill me in countless ways, and I'm still here, baby. Dan, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I've always felt bad about pushing the brand because I don't want to like force feed people thinking that like that's the only reason I do this shit. I started all of this as a passion piece because I care about all y'all. And that's why I've never charged for our live streams. I've never charged for any of our content, even though we had the option of doing that. And YouTube's like, you're stupid for doing this. You could make so much money. And I'm like, yeah, I could make a lot of money, but I'm willing to make money in certain ways. I'm willing to sell you beans. I'm willing to sell you tinctures. I'm willing to sell you hats and t-shirts. I'm grow lights, equipment, and designing things and developing them and bringing to the market to you. That in my mind is an honest dollar, right? But I don't want to cram my brand down people's throats, even though I do think we're the bee's knees. But we'll get there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get there. Never give up and never surrender. And if I do enter into some sponsorship deals, no, I will not be doing it with bad companies. I will do it with good companies, and I'll be very clear about a lot of things with them. If they want to sponsor us, they've got to kind of play to the tune of my fiddle to a great extent. That's just how it works. But yeah. Yeah, like, see, for me, like, I don't need seed sponsors. Like, I have a giant genetic catalog. I'm also my own lighting brand and own seed brand. So, like, it's would be counterproductive to take sponsorship deals. But I don't own a nutrient brand. I don't own grow lights, or I do own grow light brand, but grow tents and grow other types of grow equipment. I don't own any of that. So for the right company, I'd be willing to try them out or do it sponsorship deals. The sponsorship deals, what I'm really looking for are kind of a normal sponsorship deal where they get free advertising on my shows and then they pay me money, and that'll help keep the lights on here. It'll also help us to release new products that we already have and developing our seed stuff and buying new toys. Like, for example, like I'd love to do that side lighting thing that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd love to build that. But that's probably going to cost me about $150 to make that video. And as pathetic as it sounds, it's taken me a month and a half to be able to afford $150 worth of new fans for my tent. But, it is what it is. Fucking dude, Galaxy Quest, Eugene Dolan's the shit. Fucking love Galaxy Quest. I've watched that movie like 30 times. Galaxy Quest is like my feel-good movie. Whenever I'm having a shitty day, or if I'm like having insomnia, or like this, that, I put on Galaxy Quest because it makes me happy inside. It makes my heart smile. And that's just the reality of the beast. Yeah, yo. But yeah, excuse me. You know what? Fuck it. Here, we'll do this too. If any of you have a channel that you're trying to get going, or you've got a channel that's going, and I don't know what normal seed sponsors do, but I will sponsor you in that I will send you seeds to grow on your channel if you want, as long as you tell people where you got them. And I'll even send you seeds to give away to your audience members too. So, fucking A, rock and roll. Yeah, dude, and Kev T, man, it's been a hot fucking minute, man. Fucking drop me a line. Let's catch up. I think I need to go put my game face on so I can do another appearance on another show. Ooh. I'm not used to like doing this much. I used to do these shows for like 3 or 4 hours straight. It was insane back in the day. And now I'm going to go appear on Pot TV. I mean, luckily it's just from my house. I can just log in that way. But so that's great. Fucking, I'll try to look all fancy for them. I'll set up my green screen and shit, and we'll see. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up, my friends. But anyway, please like and subscribe if you haven't done that before. Tell your friends. Check out our older videos. Share them about on the internet. Sharing our videos and creating content, engaging content with people who haven't seen our show, that is the easiest way you can help us. It doesn't cost you anything more than your time and a few clicks on your computer. That's a huge help to us. Check out our store, potsquatchsales.com, okay? Everything's on sale until the new year. 25% off everything on the store. And typically, honestly, like most orders, well, all orders these days, like when the order comes in, like there's usually a little extra something in there for me. It's not always the same thing, but you know, the Uncle Potsquatch likes to have fun and be nice. Or like if you order a 25 pack of beans, or like, for example, like the last large mixer pack we sent out, right? You know, it's a 40 pack of beans, but it was actually a 50 pack of beans. And I just put extras in. Just because, like, why not? You know, I love everybody. And keep it real, keep it sexy. Oh, that is so sweet. Glenn Wells just posted in the Potsquatch Growers Community Breeding 101. Or maybe it was a post on the thing. But he was like, "Oh, fearless leader." And I was like, "Oh, look at you calling me that. You don't have to call me that." Coming on our show, which is true. So, all right, everybody wish me luck. I'm going to go hit the bong and try to, you know, get the character of the Potsquatch ready for Pot TV. Last minute fill-in guest, Potsquatch. Oh, right. What do we normally say? Well, remember, the true grower is a forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. Love yourselves, love your plants, and fuck around and find out. Have fun. That's how we learn. All right. Word your mother, everybody. Love you. Keep it real. Keep it sexy. All right. We'll see you next time on the flip-flop. Also, it's looking like maybe we'll be on a show on Monday on, what was it called? Weed chatter? Cannabis chatter? Something like that. They're going to email me. Maybe we'll show up on their show on Monday. You'll get my show on Tuesday. And you'll also get my update video on the Monday. Rock and roll. Keep it sexy. Love you. Okay, bye. Never give up, never surrender. Okay, I'm being long-winded now. Okay, peace.